Subscribe!
Alright, now that I got that out of the way, Hollow Knight Silksong has a lot of wishes, and I need to get this obscure form of ranking out before Rusty or whoever beats me to it. 48 unique wishes to be exact. And I'll only be ranking 47 of them because I'll be leaving out A Vassal Lost, and all of the Radiant Supply runs the two lazy pieces of lard Tip and Pill make you do while they twiddle their fingers and bellharp for you to get back. It's important to note I'm only ranking things that are listed as actual wishes, so the Pilby questline won't be in here, nor will the Green Prince or any of the mementos unless they're included in a wish. There are a lot of factors I'll be putting into this ranking: how fun they are, what they ask me to do, and what I'm rewarded with for completing them. Because if I go through a large ordeal and get a just dog shit, I expect it to be near the bottom of the list. So I'll quit wasting your time and just get started. 47 through 42. I have placed almost every donate wish at the bottom of the list. 6 out of the 7 to be exact. Not to make a joke, but because most of these wishes, you're just giving away your money for some background features in Songclave, Bone Bottom, and Bellheart. They ask you to donate either rosaries or shell shards, and in return, either more NPCs will spawn in, or some places will gain more background features to make the area more lively. While it makes sense since this game focuses on NPCs more than Hollow Knight did, some of these donations are heavy on your wallet in a game where rosaries can be hard to find sometimes. I'll cycle through these quickly since they all kind of entail the same thing. 47. Strengthening Songclave. This asks you of 500 rosaries, which is a tall order in this game given that, like I said, rosaries can be sparse in this game, especially since all that happens is background NPCs moving in that you largely can't interact with. 46. Bone Bottom Repairs. You need to spend 200 shell shards at the beginning of the game after beating Belbees, which, while you should definitely have enough by this point, literally nothing spawns in after you do it. Flick just hammers away in the background and Bone Bottom is hardly affected. 45. A life-saving bridge. This asks for 300 more shell shards. Again, these are easy to come by, but all it does is add a bridge that can be broken even on accident over the hole at the start of the game. 44. Restoration of Bellheart. This makes the best NPC town in Farloom look even better as the fallen houses begin being lifted back up and turns the place quite lively. It requires you to interact with most of the NPCs, including upgrading your needle and giving a relic to the Relic Seeker. 43. Building up Songclave. This costs 300 rosaries, which, while still steep, is more manageable than 500. Also, it spawns Sherma in here, and who doesn't love him? And lastly, 42. An Icon of Hope. This costs a wild 440 shell shards, and causes a huge statue of Flick to be constructed in the area, as well as being given a small statuette of Hornet that only a monster would destroy for extra shell shards. Sadly, the statue of Flick will be demolished by either the Skull Tyrant or the intro to Act 3, because not everything is sunshine and rainbows. The donation wishes aren't inherently bad, but because you mainly get nothing that helps you out, I place them down here. 41. Queen's Egg. You need to bring this all the way to Styx in the middle of... Wait, where are we going? To Sinner's Road? Oh, come on! Yeah, you need to slide past all the muckroaches, maggots, and god-awful flying enemies while not getting hit more than 3 times because, yep, Team Cherry tortured us by putting even more delicate flower quests in the game. Only getting hit isn't your only problem, because if you run into a wall a little too fast, it damages it. And if you drop off a ledge and don't catch yourself before your ankles get bent, then you can kiss that egg goodbye. Thankfully, the path isn't too far, but you only get 260 rosaries for it in Act 2 and 290 in Act 3. Which is such a low increase, it's better to just do it the second you get the chance. 40. The Wailing Mother. This is one of the 4 Grand Hunt bosses in the game, and yeah, it's bad. They need you to go to the slab. Not a bad area at all, but what sucks is the interaction and subsequent boss fight with the Broodmother. This is arguably the grossest boss, and with some of the least appealing sounding attacks. She shits babies at you, she flops around, and she regurgitates inexplicable gray slop at you that locks you in place and keeps you from moving. And on top of all that, beating her rewards you with just a heavy rosary necklace. What's weird is that half of the Grand Hunts reward you with one of these. I say half, but there's only 4. But the other Grand Hunt that gives you a heavy rosary necklace is a lot better in my opinion, with more lore and story related to it. This fight sucks, and its reward is not worth it at all. 49 Liquid Liqueur. Much like the last delivery, you gotta deliver some Kool-Aid to a secluded mask maker in the middle of nowhere in Mount Fae. The distance is much greater, but the reward is much higher. You can only take 2 hits before it breaks on the 3rd though, and the path is all the more dangerous having to go through the blasted steps in part of the Citadel. And if you manage this, you're given 560? Holy shit, that's a lot! And if you hold off till Act 3 and get the Silksong ability, which makes scaling Mount Fae twice as fast, you're given 650, which is a 90 rosary difference. The downside is that the Silksong can also damage the Liquid Liqueur as well, so you need to cancel it before impact. But it's a ton of money if you can stick it through. Wait, I said 49 instead of 39. 39 Liquid Liqueur. Anyways, 38 Rite of Rebirth. I'm torn on this one since it technically rewards you with a crest, but... Here, let me start from the beginning. Greyroot needs you to go get their stupid baby in the stupid bile water area and bring it back to her. The bad part is that it's kind of hard to even find the damn thing. You need to go to the Citadel, find a secret area with some pipes and spinning blades, then descend into bile water, and keep breaking down hidden walls till the twisted bud appears to you. This thing sucks. Whenever you open your inventory, all you hear is endless crying from it, and if you hover over it, it only gets worse. And it sucks, because unless you're in the know, you aren't gonna even know that you need to take it to Greyroot in the first place. And once you do, all that happens is you get the Cursed Crest, locking you out of changing crests, healing, tools, and silk skills. However, it can be fixed by doing Infestation Operation, which I'll talk about later. Something cool is that if you don't fix it and instead go and fight Grandmother Silk, you unlock a secret ending. But that ending is boring and lame, so who cares? 37 Silver Bells. This is an item gathering quest where you need to go and find a ton of bells under Bellheart behind a secret wall. This doesn't suck too much, but it's a lot more tedious than other fetch quests. The problem is that the bells don't have static locations, nor do the enemies drop them when defeated. Instead, they randomly drop from the ceiling, meaning you'll largely be running around until you happen upon them. Honestly, this one just wastes your time, but at least you're given a few rosaries for a simple task. 36 Roach Guts. Given to you by Krull and Benjen in Sinner's Road, these two are hungry and they gotta eat. Unfortunately, their diet consists of some of the most annoying enemies in the game by far, the muckroaches. They of course do double damage, but the attack where they grab you can be a little hard to dodge. Thankfully, they're all in the surrounding area, and you shouldn't take too long to get this done, and if you do, you get the tax tool. But that's useless for me, I've never used them. Fuck you, Krull and Benjen. 35 Garb of the Pilgrims. To teach a lesson to the pilgrims who've been possessed by a god against their will, we need to skin them alive and hang them up in Bone Bottom for all to see. I'm kidding. We take their clothes off. You do this for a rosary necklace, and it's pretty easy to get done with not much else here. 34 Berry Picking. After claiming the Silk Spear attack, you can find the Moss Druid cooking up something yummy, probably. He asks you to go out and find some moss berries, which, if you were keeping your eyes peeled on the way out of Mossholm at the beginning, you can come across 2 of the 3 you need. There are much more than 3 that you'll need to get the upgraded version of the prize you'll receive, but that doesn't have anything to do with this wish. An easy third to find is just below the Moss Druid's room behind a hidden wall. After turning them in, he rewards you with the Druid's Eye, an albeit mid-blue tool, but one that can come in clutch and in the early game, which is where you obtain it. 33 Savage Beastfly. The only reason this is as high as it is because you are given a Mask Shard. They took an annoying boss, put him in an arena of a boss we actually like, and spawn in the nightmare that is the Termite. The double damage from the fire and lava can be avoided with the Magma Bell, but the fight still sucks. At least, again, you get a Mask Shard. 32 Dark Hearts. Accessible in Act 3, this asks you to go out and take down some void masses. This isn't too hard or too annoying, but it's still hard and annoying. Mainly for the fact the void masses are rarely alone and are surrounded by a ton of other voided enemies that will hurt you and steal your silk as well. And I can never remember where all these things are either, so I end up wandering aimlessly till I find some. I do like that you can defeat a few before the quest starts, so when you accept it, it will partially be completed. Afterwards, you get another Mask Shard. Hurrah! 31 Fine Pins and 30 Cloaks of the Choir. The both of these are given to you in Songclave and grant the same exact reward, being a heavy rosary necklace. The only difference is the type of enemy you need to beat. Fine Pins makes you need to take down the Flying Reeds or the Choristers. These guys are challenging and fun, however the pins are susceptible to falling into the spikes below, which I find very obnoxious. Cloaks of the Choir is much easier as they're just pilgrim enemies, but glamorous. But their cloaks don't fall into spikes and cause you to lose them, so it's automatically better. 29 My Missing Brother and 28 My Missing Courier. Both of these quests are the same, pretty much. You're asked to head out and rescue 2 couriers. The first asks to find the missing courier, Tip, and bring him back to Belhart. Doing so will have the Belhart shop to gain a few items. I find this a little better than the follow-up, My Missing Brother, as you need to go back to Sinner's Road again and grab his brother, which allows you to start doing the delivery quests. Which I hate, but whatever. The quest itself is fine, so it's nothing too offensive. 27 The Wandering Merchant, and 26 The Lost Merchant. Okay, this is the last double feature of wishes, I swear. Both of these quests ask you to go out and locate Juliana, the Songclave merchant. Now, yes, these two wishes are carbon copies of each other and only differentiate where you go to find her. The only reason these are so high is because Juliana's shop is really good. Between a Mask Shard, Spool Fragment, Key, and an assortment of various tools that can help in varying degrees. The Lost Merchant has an extra point as it leads to a secret area that takes you to the Putrefied Ducks if you keep your eyes open enough. 25 Crawbug Clearing. The absolute GOAT Krieg of Holloway Home has been harassed by crawbugs for far too long. So these things suck ass. The crawbugs won't leave his roof alone and needs their feathers to make a scarecrow. And you need to get... Wait, hold on. How many? 25?
What the scallop?
Man, there won't be any crawbugs left by the time we get the scarecrow. Which would be a good thing, but whatever. Thankfully, each craw variant drops different amounts. While the smaller ones drop only 1, the bigger and taller guys drop between 4 and 5. Aside from the nightmare of having to fight these freaks, making Krieg happy is all I need. Oh, and you get a crafting kit for this, which is also really cool. 24 Volatile Flint Beetles. In early Act 1, you're tasked with hunting down a few unique enemies to this wish, being the titular Volatile Flint Beetles. These guys aren't hard, they mainly hop around or spit out fireballs to get you off guard, and upon defeat, they drop their flint gems to return to Bone Bottom to keep the citizens warm, including our best bud, Pilby. 23 Pinmaster's Oil. After getting the first needle upgrade, Pliny tells you that if you want to do it further, you'll need pale oil. Out of the 3, only 1 is really easy to find, as it's just locked behind going through the Whispering Vaults. However, another one you're more likely to run across much earlier leads us into our next wish, 22 Great Tastes of Farloom. I want to like this wish more, but I just can't find myself liking Lugoli's boss fight. Nor am I a fan of the Courier's Rasher section, because if you don't have the double jump by this point, you'll be at an impasse by the time you reach the Grand Gate. The rest of this wish is pretty fun though, between some challenging platforming and a fight between the Scars and Krieg's basement. The last item is received from the Moss Druid all the way back in Mossome as well, which is quite the nice callback. All of this so you can upgrade your weapon, which is always worth it. 21 Alchemist's Assistant. In the hell that is Wormways, you can find Xylitol. He is fascinated with plasmium, or lifeblood as we have come to know it. He wants us to go out and get some samples for him to do some research with, granting us a unique tool for this wish that lets us extract the lifeblood from the source. Returning to him afterwards, he gives us the plasmium file that lets us extract health whenever we use it. We can also overdose on it, and it's pretty funny. 20. The Terrible Tyrant. This wish asks you to go rid the marrow of the Skull Tyrant, an albeit easy boss with a neat design that rewards you with a heavy rosary necklace. But that's not why this is so high up. After you beat him and return to Bone Bottom, it will rampage through the town and demolish a once safe haven. While it's quite grim, it's a neat encounter nonetheless. And if you've done well with Pilby, you can save him and move him to a safer spot. 19. Broodfest, and if you've done it in Act 3, then Runtfest. It's the same either way. In the Putrefied Ducts, the Huntress will ask that you gather an assortment of organs to feed her children to grow strong after they're born. All you have to do is use your different tools to get some organs from enemies, with a total of 60. The hell no! Yeah, there's a ton of farming for this, and it can be tedious to figure out which tools can get what organs, but it's all worth it to get the Long Claw, which majorly buffs the range of your needle, especially for someone like me who still uses the Wanderer's Crest. 18. Advanced Alchemy. The second wish from Xylitol given in Act 3. This time, as you may have been able to tell, the Wormways has become massively infected by the plasmium, infecting enemies as well, causing them to have auto-healing properties. With Xylitol's new wish, he asks you to extract more plasmium, but this time from the enemies. This one-shots all of the plasmified bugs and Wormways, and you need to get 12 vials of plasmium this time. What's cool is if you find plasmified Zango in the southwest corner, you can use the extractor to kill him in a few hits. Your prize results in an infinite plasmium source that buffs your plasmium file. 17. Fatal Resolve. In Act 3, the Pinstress from the Blasted Seps wants to duel with us. Once you reach her home in the Windy Kingdom, you find she wants the duel to be in Mount Fae. Once you climb the mountain and stumble across her body lying still on the ground, hitting her a few times will cause her to jolt up and ready to fight. The fight itself is quite interesting, since she remains in the air for a large portion of the fight. Defeating her will give you the Pin Badge, which shortens your charge attack's charge time, which can be very good for those who use those frequently. 16. Infestation Operation. After Rite of Rebirth, you're given the chance to remove the Cursed Crest by speaking to Yarnaby and Greymoor. Unfortunately, it isn't too obvious or clear where she is or how you even know you need to find her in the first place. But once you do find her, she sends you out to go get some steel spines from Krull and Benjen. I know, this quest sounds like it sucks, and it does, but you get one of the best crests in the game, being the Witch Crest, and it cures you of the Cursed Crest as well. The Witch Crest has 3 blue slots on top of the blue Vesta Crest from Ava, making this one of the most flexible crests in the game by far. 15. The Lost Fleas. Early on in the Marrow, you can encounter Flea Master Mushka, who is the infinitely better version of the Grub Father who wants to grow his flea caravan. There are 30 fleas around Farloom, and he only needs 5 to complete this wish. They aren't that hard to find, especially since you can hear them before you see them, and if you manage to find all 5 before you beat Morwing, then once this wish is over, they'll move on top of him and roast him over an open flame like he deserves. I don't hate Morwing that much, I'm just messing around. This wish rewards you with a Flea Brew, which is absolutely amazing, boosting your running and attack speed. Also, the satisfaction of saving the precious fleas is here as well, so that's cool too. 14. The Hidden Hunter. The Wishwall has a new wish from Gilly in Act 3. Apparently some bully stole her lunch money and dipped into some trip-wired hellhole in the Farfields. This is the last grand hunt in the game, and this is against Gur the Outcast, another Scar enemy. He never directly attacks you in the fight, he just kind of chucks his traps at you, which makes for a pretty interesting boss. He's quite challenging as well since he's a late game boss, but nothing too complex. But once you bring him down, you can find Gilly's Grass Doll in the next room to bring it back to the Wish Wall for one of the last mask shards you'll come across. 13. Flexible Spines. While this wish is required to beat the game, unless you're a speedrunner, it is listed as a minor wish. Of course, the task at hand isn't anything more complicated than hunting down a few enemies and collecting their spines, but the Seamstress gives us one of the most important forms of movement in the game, the Drifter's Cloak. This lets you ride up drafts of wind and even avoid attacks coming from the ground since that you can stall in the air with it. Also, the Seamstress is a really nice NPC, and also located in one of my favorite areas. right before one of my favorite bosses, which you'll be using the Drifter's Cloak for anyways. Number 12, Rite of the Polyp. Now this is a pinnacle of a fetch quest, and of course it's the best fetch quest related to Greyroot as well. Greyroot needs you to go out and collect polyp hearts around Shellwood. These are found by spotting clusters of purple flowers, sometimes accompanied by small purple flies as well. At the center will be a giant glowing flower that contains the heart. After getting all 5 of these and turning them into Greyroot, she rewards you with the amazing blue tool, the Polyp Pouch. This applies poison to your tools for some additional damage and genuinely helped me mop the floor with some bosses of my recent playthrough. An early quest that's super worth it. I will say that in post, after writing the script and whatnot, I did watch a video talking about how the Polyp Pouch isn't really that good, but I like it, so I'm keeping it in the same space that I put it as anyway. Argue with me in the comments, I don't care. 11, Trail's End. I know, I should be putting Chakra much higher, but let me explain. To activate this quest, you'll need to collect every map that Chakra makes. Then she'll have a wish on the wish board, informing you that she's found the trail to her long-lost master. She picked up the trail in Bylewater, and expects you to follow. Now again, you need all of Chakra's maps for this, which lies the problem with this wish. You need to collectively spend almost 900 rosaries for this wish to activate. Now, casually playing through this would be no issue, but when you really start to think about where all your money is in this game, it's in her fucking pockets. But that's enough negatives. The real glory to this quest lies when you reach her where her master is. She reminisces a little bit before the two of you perform a departing song for her. Afterwards, you get Chakra's throwing rings, a simple tool that are cool to use and of course come with their very own taunt. 10, Silk and Soul. Breaking into our top 10 is what breaks us into our third act. Again, this is a minor wish that is essential for story purposes. I don't really know why they listed it as a minor wish, but that's a problem for Team Cherry. Anyways, the caretaker up in Songclave will grant you this wish once most other wishes are complete, and the fleas are moved to the Putrefied Ducks. You'll need to get a hold of 4 different items to complete this, and then defeat Grandmother Silk with it to move into Act 3. You'll need the Maiden Soul, the Seeker Soul, the Hermit Soul, and the Snare Setter. 2 of these souls are really easy to obtain, being that you need to talk to the lady who smacks you in the head at the beginning of the game, and the Bell Hermit under Bellheart. The Snare Setter is easy enough, just locked behind a secret ceiling in Weaveness Alta. Now, the Seeker Soul, on the other hand, you have to fight through Groll the Great. Easily one of the most formidable and infamous bosses in the game. Being that his run back is bad, his arena has an enemy gauntlet beforehand, the maggot water, and the sound effects that he keeps emoting that pisses me off. Sorry that got out of hand. Even though Groll sucks, the ability to go into Act 3 is spectacular, so it's a worthwhile and amazing outcome to a wish. 9, Bellheart's Glory. Deep in Act 2, you can accept a donation wish to further develop the reconstruction of Bellheart. Now, I know what you may be thinking. Why on earth would a donation that requires 400 rosaries be in the top 10? Well, because this rewards you with the Bell Home, a soft bed, a hot spring, and a display case to show off all of your friends. The Bell Home is great. You can stitch an infinite money source to it too once you're in Act 3. Pimp out your crib as much as you want, this bad boy will fit your personality to a T. And rent is cheap, so cheap that you only need to pay the 400 upfront. All the furniture is sold separately, and sadly there is no Sherma plush to be purchased in the shop. All injuries that take place inside, outside, or on the Bellhome will not be compensated back to you. 8, Hero's Call. There seems to be some strange sounds near the blasted Chef's Bellway. Deep in Act 3 you're granted this wish, and once you arrive at the Bellway, you see Zaza, Garmin's trusty steed, is calling for help. Following him will take you all the way down and are soon confronted by Garmin, only he's been cursed by the Black Selk and he is now lost. This is a depressing fight if you've been following this quest. His moveset isn't too complicated, but it's definitely stressful considering he's voided now and your Silk is in as much danger as your health. And your mental health. Beating him will result in a sad departure while Zaza takes a seat next to his corpse, rewarding you with the hero's memento. Damn, this game makes me fucking sad, man. 7. Bugs of Farloom. Nu is one of the most popular NPCs in the game, and I genuinely enjoy the wish. She wants us to gather information on enemies around Farloom, 100 to be exact. All you really need to do is defeat 100 unique enemies, bosses included. It's nothing too difficult. I mean, if you're thorough enough, you'll get it done not long after entering the Citadel. It encourages you to actually bother taking on some challenging enemies. And besides, it gives you the Hunter's Journal. When you defeat a number of any given enemy, Hornet will put her thoughts of the enemies in there, which can be quite fun to read. After 100 bugs are in the journal, Nu will try to give you a kiss, which causes the funny slap, and you'll receive a tool pouch upgrade. 6. Final Audience. This wish is activated after reviving the second sentinel, which can be done after finding the 3 cogheart pieces sprinkled around the Citadel. The second sentinel is supposed to make sure the Citadel has no threats around, and occasionally you'll come across them fighting the hostile enemies. After doing this twice, the wish will be on the board asking you to meet them in the High Halls. Once you see them, they'll ask for a duel and an actually amazing fight breaks out. This fight feels amazing and the music goes hard. Beating them rewards you with the Reserve Bind. Overall, a fun fight with a cool character. 5. The Fastest in Farloom. Breaking into our top 5, we get to enter the Corpse of a Giant where we meet Sprintmaster Swift. This energetic blue bug loves to go fast, like another blue animal I can think of. He wants us to race with him. And more specifically, he wants us to race all 3 of his obstacle courses. Each race has 3 laps, with each race getting more and more complex and difficult as they go. The first one will result in a simple rosary necklace, the next will give you a beast shard, and the most difficult one will reward you with a mask shard. These races are super fun and stressful. It's also pretty funny how if you use your claw line or the needle on him, it can stagger him behind you and give you a better lead. Super fun wish, and a super fun NPC. 4. Balm for the Wounded. Our favorite little musician, Sherma, is going to go out and find some Tylenol for the good people of Songclave. He wants our help down in the White Ward. Admittedly, an odd place to be searching, but when we track him down... Back off, he's mine. Sherma is scared and horrified, and this is the only time he's ever not been jolly, so we need to save him. He even plays his song sad. After our little bro has been saved, he gives us a spool fragment. But come on, Sherma, you don't have to give me anything. As long as you're safe, that's all the reward I need. These next 2 can probably be interchangeable for me on any given day, but I think I'm going to be placing number 3 as Pain, Anguish, and Misery. In Act 3, the wish board gives us this wish, asking to meet up with the so-called Tormented One on the Citadel stage. Upon arriving, the fan-favorite boss, Trobio, appears in an explosive fashion and demands a rematch. And holy shit, I love Tormented Trobio so much. This is easily a top 5 boss for me. Everything about Trobio was good, and this fight made him great. Between faster attacks, more extravagant AoE laser beams, and a purple fit to represent his tormentedness. This fight has it all. And of course, once he's defeated, you're given the Dark Mirror, which goes in hand with the other mirror received from Trobio earlier on, making your explosive healing all the more effective. This wish is awesome, and this fight is spectacular. I can't say much more. Number 2, Passing of the Age. The only character aside from Hornet to return from a past game, Mr. Mushroom, has got another wish for us to complete. You start this by using your Silksong ability on the far right end of the putrefied ducts and interacting with the Mushroom Riddle tablet. Like last time, you need to find all the locations of Mr. Mushroom and speak to him in the order of what's said on the tablet. Thankfully, this time it's placed in your wish list in your inventory, so you don't need to look it up every time. And the hints to find him are also a little more clear than last time. He once again talks about various random things with his funny voice lines. After meeting him under the chapel at the beginning of the game, above Bone Bottom, on the far right of Farfields, above one of the towers in Greymore, the first Sinner's boss room, and the top of Mount Fey, you are told to go even higher than the cradle. Using your Silksong, you can find a hole in the ceiling where you can keep ascending. This is where the hardest section of platforming in the game is by far. It's still much easier than Path of Pain. After a quite extensive climb upwards, the Herald is once again talking to himself at the beginning, but then quickly and finally switches to talking directly to you. After acknowledging us and talking about the state of the world situation, he once again soars off into the sky and goes above the surface. This, of course, unlocks the passing of the age achievement, and more importantly, hints at his next appearance in the franchise. And finally, number 1, Ecstasy of the End. After all the fleas have been collected, Flea Master Mushka asks for us to meet him at Fleetopia. He fears that the end times are upon them and that all is lost. When we arrive, the fleas are gone and Mushka stands alone on stage. Then suddenly, the mood shifts as the fleas appear and a celebration begins. For this wish to be completed, Hornet must gain the high score of all 3 of the minigames at the festival. The first is the juggle minigame, where you need to juggle more than 30 fleas. Now each flea needs to be hit 3 times for the juggle to count. The next is dodge, arguably the hardest, as you are placed on a couple of platforms and are tasked with not being hit by a minimum of 66 fleas. This includes the larger flea that can destroy your platforms, so you need to stall in the air till they come back. Vogue can also hit you with her weapon. Dodging this, though, doesn't count towards gaining a point. The last is Flea Bounce, where you have to pogo off of 43 fleas before hitting the ground to win. After winning all 3, the festival is concluded and the final thing needing to be done is to smack the flea piñata till it explodes with a ton of rosaries, and the final pale oil to upgrade your weapon to the max. The fleas are so much better than the grubs in my opinion. They are so much more fleshed out and so much cuter to me as well. But with that, this list is over. But don't leave just yet. I just want to talk about how thankful I am for the overwhelming support I've been given these last 2 weeks or so. My last video, which was my Dark Souls 3 boss ranking, go watch it if you haven't, popped off immensely. I mean, if you look at the views by itself, 2,000 views isn't really that much, but if you take a peek at the video that came out right before it, yeah, it's quite the jump. I know it can be a lot to ask, but if you subscribe, I would really appreciate it. 2026 is here, and if I can make it to 500 by the end of the year, I'd think that'd be awesome. I want to stream more as well, and you guys should totally tune into them. Unfortunately, I can't keep a consistent schedule with them since I have a real-life job that doesn't have consistent scheduling, but with all that being said, I'll talk to you all later. Bye.